Caller number 6 this morning is getting an all-expenses-paid cruise to paradise. The theme song from the TV show The Love Boat came over the radio, and Julia smiled as she flipped on her turn signal and swung the car into the parking lot. The cruise sounded nice. All we need is for you to call and have the answer to our question of the hour. And what's the question of the hour, Matt? The female DJ on the morning show that Julia always listened to prompted her co-anchor cheerfully, her voice full of anticipation. I'm glad you asked, Marla. The theme song faded out behind their voices. Before 8:30 this morning, we'll be asking caller number 6 about the biggest songs of 1985. We've got one in particular we're looking for, but that's the only hint you'll get from me. Julia turned off the ignition of the car and the radio went silent. She took a moment there in the parking lot of the high school where she'd worked for the past 14 years, breathing in and out 5 times slowly. It's Thursday, Jules, she said, flipping down the visor and eyeing herself in the mirror. She fluffed her blonde hair and leaned in closer, inspecting the shock of gray at one temple that blended in with the highlights she still dutifully sat in the salon for every 8 weeks. It's almost Friday, so pull up your big girl pants and go in there. You've got things to do. She put the visor up and grabbed her purse and her flowered lunch bag, then joined the steady stream of tired-looking teachers holding travel coffee mugs and stacks of folders as they trudged through the frost and the partially melted snow that still lingered on the lawn and in shaded areas. Morning, Julia. Jack Nussbaum raised a hand in salute as he pulled open the heavy door and held it for her. How are things? Hey, Jack. Julia smiled at him gratefully and stamped her boots on the thick, sturdy black rug just inside the doors. Things are fine, I guess. I'm at that point in the year where I'm unconvinced that these freshmen will ever grow up and become successful, self-reliant adults, but somehow they usually manage to, right? Jack shrugged. Either that or their parents will be supporting them forever. And who will support us? We aren't that far from retirement, you know, Julia said wryly. It was a familiar refrain, this light-hearted banter about kids ill-prepared for the real world, and the very distinct possibility that there wouldn't be anyone to care for Generation X in their golden years. Speak for yourself, Jack said in mock horror. I'm years from retirement. Not because of age, mind you, but because I thought having 4 kids after I turned 40 was a great idea. And now I'll be working until I'm 80 to support them. Julia gave Jack a sympathetic smile as she headed down the hallway to her classroom. Hang in there, Nussbaum. You've got this, she called over one shoulder. He lifted his coffee thermos in silent salute and kept walking. The heater in Julia's classroom had just kicked on for the morning, and she unwound the hand-knitted scarf her daughter had given her for Christmas, pulling it from her neck and draping it over the back of her rolling chair. She'd been teaching freshman English at Greenway High for more than a decade now, and her routine was solid and predictable. Wake up at 5, make coffee and read on the couch in her robe, call her daughter, Christina, at 6 and talk for a few minutes, shower and dress, and get out the door with coffee number 2 before 7:15. Once in her classroom, she usually turned on the radio for a bit and graded papers or answered emails. A few of her coworkers had entreated her to play something more modern, like Pandora or Spotify, on her computer, but Julia loved the familiar feeling of her favorite DJs chattering in the background as she moved about her classroom. Sure, she'd told them, she used the other music services when she went to the gym, but she had a morning routine and it worked for her. She didn't want to mess with it. But it was this inability to budge that sort of had her stuck, and she knew it. Her husband, Will, had died unexpectedly 3 years earlier, and in that time, she'd refused to change anything about her life. Julia wouldn't move out of her house. She eschewed all thoughts of taking a vacation to a new place, and she rejected all suggestions that she redecorate her bedroom or rearrange her furniture.